So in this new situation, that means we must help our tourism industry stakeholders to survive and then thrive once again. While keeping our community and residents content is always a priority, residents are a higher priority now more than ever. Safety and protecting our residents and our visitors is our top priority right now. We are providing guidance and resources for our stakeholders, which includes the strategy. And we're hoping that our partners will use this strategy as a model when creating their own recovery strategies. So big thank you to our amazing staff here. Most of us are relatively new and have been here under a year. I've been here since November, as I mentioned. And it is definitely an interesting time to start as a director in a new community. But we have been lucky enough to recruit some of the best in the business. And the Durango community has been calling our new team the Dream Team. So self-proclaimed, love to get the word out about that. We have Teresa Graven. She was previously our PR contractor, and we have brought her in-house for crisis communications, tourism, and other communications, as well as PR. Nick Kogos is our digital marketing guru, and Cassie House is our sales and marketing coordinator. She is highly creative and the master of our social media. And Grace Shepard has been here the longest time. She manages the Durango Welcome Center and leads some of our sales efforts. Oops. Bear with me, a little technical difficulty. So, industry outlook. This is for the national, U.S. outlook. To start off, some of the key findings from the global and domestic tourism industry. We monitor all the research companies closely. Some examples of those companies are Oxford Economics, the U.S. Travel Association, Longwoods International, Destination Analysts, MMGY, the list goes on. You can see in the graph here on the right that revenues decreased by half in March and completely tanked in April. Unsurprisingly, with a slow comeback planned, we hope to get back to about a 35% decrease by the end of the year. So overall for this year, the experts are predicting the hotel industry will be down by about 45%, but TBD. The total loss to the travel industry will be $651 billion. Yikes. And the US will lose 8 million jobs in the travel industry. The only real crisis that we have to compare to this on a national scale is 9/11, and the experts are predicting that this will be possibly 10 times worse than the impact of that. On a more positive note, on the national outlook, travelers are becoming more optimistic and eager to travel every week and less concerned about safety. People who may have tried to postpone their travel plans are now canceling, unfortunately, because they aren't sure when they can postpone until, or some brave souls are just continuing forward with their trips. Road trips, we actually already knew that road trips were going to be a trend this year pre-COVID, but obviously mid and post-COVID, they will be an even bigger trend. And business travel is not in such high demand right now. People are more craving to get back to their leisure trips. Some more data for you. What we're monitoring here at Visit Durango. We are part of the La Plata County Economic Recovery Task Force, which meets weekly. In the beginning, we were meeting 3 times a week. So that is Jack, myself, and all the business leaders in the community getting together and strategizing how we can effectively recover economically from this crisis. So on a macro level, we are monitoring the number of cases. You can see a graph there down below, and you can see what we call flattening the curve towards the end of that. We're monitoring, obviously, the regulations and mandates from the governor's office and the CDC. We are monitoring business closures or openings now, as well as school schedules and obviously operations of hotels. And then on more of a micro focused level, visitation and occupancy data, of course. We have a travel sentiment survey that went out that I'll get into more a little later. And of course, we're listening to visitor and resident sentiment online, so social media, Durango Herald comments, etc. And we are monitoring people's search, forecasting, and media trends. So this is all about data, data, data. And this is a graph I just put together, and it shows Durango's occupancy versus the national average. This is data from STR, or Smith Travel Report. They're the go-to company for occupancy and other hotel data. So you can see that when it hit in March, we were already a little better off than the national average. And as time has gone on, we have actually increased at a higher rate than the national average. So we are doing our job effectively. Grace, who manages the Welcome Center, has been tracking the inquiries that come in through the phone, live chat, and now in person in the Welcome Center. And 71% of those people who called and asked questions were planning on rebooking their trips this year. So that was a very positive indicator. As I mentioned, we did a tourism sentiment survey. This went out to people who have either visited Durango, have interest in visiting Durango, and we had about 1,500 responses, so it was an excellent sample size. Some information that we got, some of it was not surprising, some of it was a little surprising, so I'm really glad that we conducted this survey. We know that people are less likely to travel by plane, go to a hot spring, or participate in a group outdoor activity, go to a theater, event, or festival, of course. The one I thought was a bit surprising was that they're less likely to stay in a vacation rental. So that's interesting. And we found that they're more likely to take a scenic drive, travel by car, visit a national park, go on an RV or camping trip, and they're more likely to take the train. So that was a good indicator as well. I love this stat. Only 7% of respondents said they would avoid hotels, and 7.5% said they would avoid restaurants. So people are eager to come back. Who will these people be traveling with? The majority were a family or a partner. And I love this stat as well. How long after the stay-at-home order is lifted do you feel comfortable traveling? And the vast majority of people said 2 months or less, which is basically where we're at right now. And we are seeing visitation go up steadily, so that was a positive and accurate indicator. 83% of people will be traveling by personal vehicles, so again, road trips will reign supreme. The channels that we're using to implement our strategy and reattract visitors are the basic tenets of destination management and marketing. Both in a normal year and in a crisis year, these goals don't necessarily change during a crisis. So one method, obviously, is the Durango Welcome Center on Main. We reopened in early June, and as I mentioned, we're seeing about 200 people a day, so very glad that we got that open. We do sales efforts as well as marketing and PR, social media, video ads, etc. And all of these channels operate on a similar campaign schedule and are focused on data and goals, so they sync up with each other. And we look for actual conversions on these, so data that shows positively that we're reaching our goals. This is one of my favorites. From that graph earlier where you saw Durango was faring better as far as occupancy for hotels, I would guess that these are the reasons why. Durango is better positioned than most destinations during this time for a quick recovery. Our tourism assets will be a great advantage over our competitors. So outdoor rec, when people start traveling, they're traveling now or planning to soon, they will be looking for fun travel activities that they can do easily while social distancing. So hiking, biking, kayaking, camping, etc. We are a rural and remote destination, so people will be avoiding crowded urban environments, and because people will be avoiding cities, the fact that we are over 3 hours from a major metropolitan area will work in our favor. Normally we consider that a bit of a hindrance for people, but it is an asset right now. And after the economic downturn and havoc on people's personal finances, luxury mountain resorts will be off the table for travel. They'll be looking for mid-range and affordable destinations like Durango will be popular with the cost-conscious traveler. The timeline for recovery is unpredictable and could change rapidly. Because we have great activities and attractions available year-round, we can flip the marketing switch and have visitors arriving quickly at any time. And while a lot of our visitation comes through the airport, we are primarily a drive market, so we will not see a huge hit there like some other destinations will. We are also primarily frequented by domestic visitors, so people in the US visit. We do get international travel as well, but it's not the bulk of our business, so again, we won't take as big of a hit there. And after the mental health blow that this crisis has had on some people, they'll be looking for a destination that is warm and welcoming, and Durango's friendly nature will certainly be advantageous for that. And the joke is that everyone in Durango knows their resting heart rate. We are a very healthy, health-conscious community, and this will likely keep us not only our residents safe, but will also help keep our potential visitors safe. Oops. Another advantage we have, which is amazing news for us, some destination marketing organizations like Visit Durango are dealing with a loss of 75% of their budget, half of their budget. It is a really tough time for the tourism industry, but luckily the city of Durango and La Plata County understand that destination marketing is needed now more than ever. We really need to get our visitors back in order to recover through this. So we have worked the numbers out, and we will be able to maintain about 85% of our budget, which is amazing compared to what a lot of other organizations are facing. So we are very grateful for that. Some target persona sample activities. So while outdoor rec will be the main area of focus for our campaigns, we do want to stress that there will be activities available for all types of travelers. So we have other persona groups in mind, such as road tripping families who may veer more towards activities like the river trail or horseback riding, or maybe there's retired boomers who can take more interest in art galleries or golf, which are all activities that will be available to them. So the anticipated timeline, I've already had to edit this because everything is constantly in flux and we are keeping up. So phase 1 happened in May, and that was when we were focusing our marketing on Colorado-based travelers. Again, outdoor recreation, online shopping, arts and culture. We are currently in phase 2. This is our summer phase, and this actually arrived faster than we expected, which is great. We're glad to see that business is back and people are opening back up, and the business bump outs on Main create a lively atmosphere, so we're a big fan of that. And in this phase, we have expanded to a drive market of about 10 hours, still focusing on Colorado-based travelers as well. We'll be starting to incorporate and promote restaurants, galleries in downtown, as well as the train we're promoting. And this is perfect timing for phase 2. Because this phase focuses on outdoor rec, and it falls in summer, which is arguably the best season for outdoor rec, we actually got lucky with that one. So we think that'll help us a lot moving forward. And then in phase 3, this could come in September. We've all heard rumors of a second spike, so we will be monitoring all of that data and seeing where we should go with marketing. But if it does arrive in September, at this time, we should hopefully be fully recovered, and we'll plug in our fly markets, and all industries will be promoted and covered. So basically back to normal. So get in your time machine and go back in time. This is the explanation of our triage or pre-recovery phase. So there are 4 phases to this recovery strategy, and we have currently gone through 3. So some of this is marketing that we've already completed. Excuse me. So the main goal of this phase was communicating travel advisories to our tourism stakeholders. We were inspiring travelers and keeping Durango top of mind and encouraging visitors to reschedule. We were not placing ad buys at this time, so we were really using our organic marketing tactics and reaching our existing audiences. Our campaigns during this time were a great one that I'm a big fan of, #DurangoDreaming. This was all inspirational content that was being used to keep Durango area top of mind. And then #SaveTourism. This was just encouraging visitors to postpone rather than cancel their trips. Our main channels of promotion during this phase were, of course, the website, email, especially B2B email and B2C email. And we have been helping the La Plata County Economic Recovery Task Force. We had some online trainings and webinars with them. And the only paid media that was out right now in that phase was stuff that was already placed for the full year. So it was a year-long contract. And there were not any sales or fam tours in town, as well as press tours, just because people weren't traveling this phase. So these are some examples of that campaign in action. There are screenshots of results in the press and a nice shout out from the Colorado Tourism Office. And these are some examples of the resources that we have published on our site for consumers and stakeholders. So after triage phase, we entered recovery phase 1. This is when we took a bit of a sigh of relief. And this is when Safer at Home had transitioned and non-essential travel was back on the table. We were going after Coloradans, but still encouraging social distancing, of course. And we were slowly increasing our spend at this time. We plan to use about 8% of our media spend during that phase. And these are some of the campaigns for that phase. My personal favorite, Find Your Escape. This is appealing to the stir crazy, the pent up, those with cabin fever, and whether they were looking to escape their home, their area, or their family, they can escape to Durango. And Care for Durango, this is both to educate visitors on how to stay safe and to raise public awareness for residents on how we're working to keep our community safe. As part of the Care for Durango campaign, we are hosting some giveaways with Durango curated goodies and gift cards. And we are also beginning our first big push for sustainable tourism. It's about time, and this is the perfect time to start. We are excited about that. And Cassie from our team has been working hard capturing video of various businesses. You'll see a little bit of that later on. And we were continuing our Durango Dreaming and Staycation messaging at that time. As far as content in that phase, we were rolling out new blogs, pushing out the open for business messaging to businesses and consumers. We were dipping our toe back into the paid advertising pool with some magazine, PPC, and social media ads. PPC is pay-per-click. Sometimes it's hard not to speak in acronyms. And our PR push was focused on residents and how we're keeping the community safe while still bringing visitors and economic impact in. We began rebooking our smaller group gatherings at this time. We're still getting a lot of inquiries about weddings, family reunions, gatherings like that. And as protocol allowed, we were able to reopen the Welcome Center in early June. The areas of promotion during this phase were trails, again, outdoor rec, public art, park, and scenic drives. You can see a big focus on outdoors. And now we have arrived into our current phase, which is phase 2, and this began in June. This was perfect timing that this started in June because we can promote Durango summertime. The High Country will be opening 4th of July. And of course, it's a heavy camping season. So we'll be doing lots of communication about trail maintenance and best practices, leave no trace. We are still promoting regionally and to drive markets, but not just in-state markets anymore. We have a radius of up to a 10-hour drive. So those cities within that radius. And we are increasing focus on safety, of course, again, the top priority. During this phase, we're spending about 44% of our budget. So we are bringing out the big guns. With our campaign, we are encouraging repeat visitation and rediscovering Southwest Colorado. We are working with our local influencers, highlighting our lack of crowds, and again, encouraging leave no trace and visitors to travel like a local. So we have created some new website content as well as itineraries. We are bringing back more advertising co-op programs, so stay tuned for some communication about that. And we are bringing back the FAMs. We just had our first PR FAM in town. A journalist came a couple days ago, and I think she's still here, so we're really excited to be bringing that back. We will also be bringing back FAMs for tour operators and individuals in the more sales-focused market. We are promoting high country, Jeep rides, horseback riding, rafting, and yay, restaurants, as well as shopping and in-town activities. Purgatory is open now, and the train is opening shortly. So that is exciting to incorporate in this phase. Now, the phase that we have not entered yet, this is phase 3, our last phase. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, stay away from broken mirrors. We hope that we can get here by September and have things go back to a relative level of normal. Phase 3, like I mentioned before, will expand our audiences to additional cities and now fly markets. We will be back to normal, and we won't be focusing on the local and resident communications as much at this point. We will still focus on it, just won't be our primary target. And from here, we'll fully ramp up our ad spend and the amount of content that we're producing. We'll be able to promote all the industry, and we'll increase our budget to handle the influx of activities and sectors that we're promoting. Because fears of traveling will hopefully have subsided at this time, and hopefully international travel restrictions will have lifted. There will be a spike in demand, and we will expect short booking windows, so keep your eye out for that. We will hit our regional drive markets, direct fly markets, and international. With the restrictions fully lifted, we'll be adding in the promotion of bars, nightlife, and events, hopefully, groupings of over 50 people. And we'll be marketing to leaf peepers and promoting the small town pace of Durango. The website will be pushing travel deals during this time. We'll begin hosting international media tours again, and we expect motor coach and tours to really come back strong during this phase. We'll also be promoting sustainability in the Welcome Center, and we'll have signage and giveaways related to that promotion. So in this phase, we'll have back, well, actually we have back now this week, the train. We'll also be promoting more exploring of the region, nearby recreational areas, as well as Mesa Verde. They have canceled their ranger-led tours for the season, but they are open for self-guided tours, drives, and just visitation and hiking in general. So we're happy that that is open. We'll also be promoting agritourism in this phase. And now the exciting stuff. This is when you guys get a peek of some of the creative that we have been producing or will be releasing. So it's a little bit of a sneak peek as well. This is a magazine ad that was actually produced before COVID hit. But as you can see, we are promoting Durango as a hub for adventure. So in this case, it was a biking focused issue of the magazine. We focused on biking, and we listed the lineup of all the amazing biking events that take place here, and were planned to, some of which have been canceled. Fingers crossed that some will still be able to take place. This is a this was part of our triage phase, so a tourism strong campaign. Don't cancel, postpone. This was just reminding people that we need to have fun and adventure once all this is over, and travel will always be a priority. This is a screenshot of one of the videos that we have produced about extra measures that our community is making to stay safe for residents and visitors. We want everyone to care for Durango, including the tourists who will boost our economy. This is an example of the Stop and Awe campaign. This is another magazine ad, and we'll be promoting leaf peepers and fall in Durango. These are some examples of online ads that are done retargeting on websites. The Find Your Escape campaign, you can see outdoor rec is strongly promoted. This is another example of an outdoor rec Find Your Escape ad, beautiful paddle boarding. And this is another example, Find Your Escape. This is all about, you know, recharging, mindfulness, restoring your health, both physically and mentally, and just getting that little break that you need. And this is a sneak peek. We haven't actually released this video yet, so you guys are the first members of the public to see it. So I will go ahead and play this. Hopefully it works. Grab your chocolate. So as you can see, that is part of the Care for Durango campaign. Video is really king on social media and online right now. So we have various versions of this at different lengths that we'll be placing both organically and as paid content. So this is the last thing that I'd like to ask you all to do. We have published a La Plata County resident survey. So this is currently in progress. We're hoping that everyone on this call can take it, and please spread it with your Durango and La Plata County friends. It asks about various things, lodger's tax, you know, what do visitors do that gets under your skin a little bit? And then we're also asking people what we should prioritize with our responsible and sustainable tourism campaigns. So maybe parking is a priority, or avalanche safety, things like that. So we really want to know what the residents think is a focus for this. And we will be accepting those surveys until July 10th. So you can go to mysay.is/LPC resident. So it's like La Plata County resident. And this is my contact info. I think we have time for some Q&A now, but if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me or info you'd like to share, please reach out. My email is rachel@durango.org. And that is all we got. What kind of questions do we have?
So I think one, Rachel, was, and I think it may have been answered in the chat, but are you promoting mask wearing? Somebody's seen out, a lot of out-of-state travelers without masks, and what is Visit Durango doing to address that?
We are definitely promoting that. That is part of our responsible tourism campaign. What was previously sustainable tourism and focused more on the earth and the environment is now responsible tourism, which also means taking health and safety precautions, including wearing masks. We let everyone know that masks are required in Durango, and some creative that I didn't show you, but we have a campaign running that has ads that say, "Enjoy Durango responsibly." And then it links to a page that explains the different things that we suggest. Of course, social distancing, don't come if you're sick, and masks. So.
Okay, a quick reminder for people participating next Tuesday from 10 o'clock on the 30th, from 10 o'clock in While Supplies Last. We actually have roughly 1,000 masks. We'll give them away. Yeah, they're the disposable blue type surgicals, but 3-ply that will be given away thanks to Tom Helms with Morgan Stanley here at the chamber. So stop on by, pick up masks, and you can use those however you need to. So another question, you're going to be adjusting marketing due to the train being out of service for 8 to 16 weeks due to the washout. And as I understand it, the train still is running from Rockwood to Cascade with the diesel engine, and it's further north where the washout was. Is that correct,
That is my understanding as well, but not 100% sure.
Hi, Teresa, Crisis Communications for Visit Durango here. I'm happy to chime in because it looks like both Tara and Andrew had questions about this. I will send, Jennifer, the link to the survey to you, but we are not adjusting our marketing spend due to what happened. So what happened with the train, it's up at the Elk Park location, which is one of the wilderness access points. If you've ever done that hike from the top of Molis with the 40 switchbacks down to the river, that's where it happened. So pretty close to Silverton. The train was always prohibited from returning to Silverton at this point in response to COVID. They had set until August 15th when they could potentially return to Silverton. Of course, the train would like to return sooner to serve visitors and support Silverton, but that has kind of been the plan, is at least until August 15th. So it has not really affected our communications. We're, if anything, doing more to try to support the train with the current abbreviated schedule from Rockwood to Cascade. And that will continue to be our focus. And, you know, they're on our board. They're a really close partner of ours. And we're just really looking for ways to support them right now, because that was certainly an unfortunate incident to have happen on top of fires and pandemics and everything else. So thank you.
Thanks for jumping in, Teresa. She is the expert.
That's why she's part of the dream team.
Exactly.
And then how do your numbers compare with 200 people in the visitor center averaging per day? How does that compare to previous years?
I think it is a little higher right now. As you all probably know, we have public restrooms in the Welcome Center, and that is the main need and why we opened. But there are a lot of people coming in for information as well. You know, now is kind of a confusing time to travel, and people really just want to know what's open, what's safe, what do I need to do to stay safe. So we are getting a lot of inquiries related to that as well.
And I have a question. Can people still advertise in the Welcome Center? Is that open? I know Grace handles that. Are you guys accepting that?
Yeah, so Grace was full steam ahead on reopening the center, and part of that was so we could get our advertisers exposed yet again. We do have some caution tape around the perimeter of the Welcome Center, so people aren't touching every brochure and every little rack card. We just have them laid out, and we have signs that say, if you touch it, take it, for the brochures. So, but people can still see the advertising around the Welcome Center.
And then what about if people have events or anything that they would like to post on Durango.org? I know we let our members post, events, things of that nature. What do you guys offer with Durango.org?
Yeah, we have an events page that is highly trafficked, has great SEO. So we encourage anyone who has an event to submit through the website, or you can just reach out to Cassie directly. It's Cassie@Durango.org. She's the one who manages that page. But yeah, it's a great way to promote an event, especially right now when there aren't a lot of events happening. It'll get a lot of exposure.
And if anybody else has any questions or comments, feel free to put it in the chat. We actually may end class a little early. Never happens. Wow. Actually, is that, and I gotta say, is that Kirk Comic that shaved? I'm sorry, I just saw your face, Kirk.
Yeah.
What? You got rid of the mountain man look, huh?
That's right. Had to do it. I found they found a live squirrel in there.
Oh, that's funny. I'm not seeing any other questions coming up. I know you've been helping out a lot with the task force, and thank you for all your efforts there. And you guys do a great job. I enjoy following you on all the different social medias, and posting and hashtagging as I can. But you represent Durango very well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and ditto to you as well. I think with the chamber, ourselves, BID, and the other organizations, we really have a strong economic engine here. So happy to be part of it.
I do know that the state level, we were getting noticed from the state level down here in Southwest Colorado because of the task force efforts, and they're using some things that we've done as models for how other communities can. And a little side note with the business bump outs downtown and everybody kind of decorating and having some fun in the true Durango spirit, so to speak. Ryan Finnegan with the Makerspace has designed some platforms that are adjustable, and he's actually starting to look at selling those around the region to other communities that have done bump outs that want to make it level. And so where entrepreneurial spirits kind of come out from the bump outs. So nice to see that.
Yeah, we've gotten some great domestic coverage as well as international coverage for both the task force and this marketing recovery strategy. Some other destinations are using it as their model for what they'll be doing for recovery.
I'm just looking at the chat. We'll let Teresa troubleshoot that one.
Oh, I can't actually see the
It
chat.
says just tried the link twice, and it told me I have already completed the survey, which I haven't, from Andrew Aiken. So maybe someone can respond to him and just,
That was for the resident survey?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, okay. That's curious. We will get to the bottom of that one.
Teresa's on it.
Yes.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, we'll wrap up the today's lunch and learn. And just a reminder too that if anybody has any ideas or they would like us to find somebody to do different presentations. I know we've had probably, gosh, I want to say probably 26, 27 different Zoom meetings and presentations. So if you have a topic, please let us know what it is, because if you have the idea, others are probably wanting to know information as well. So with that, don't forget to go on to durangobusiness.org, vote for your favorite coolest dog. Make sure if you have a dog, get your dog entered, and enter Durango's coolest dog. That'll be going on until July 22nd. And then we're going to have the fur ball coming up in August at Birds. So we'll make the announcement of the winner. And with that, if I was around my eyes looking at my staff to see if I've forgotten something, but check out durangobusiness.org and we'll be updating you. And thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week at the Mass Drive. Be safe. Have a great day. Again, thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Rachel.